What's up, guys? How are you? Welcome into a Thursday morning episode of the Daily Juice Podcast. My name is Matt Perrault. You guys can follow me across all of my socials at Sports Talk Matt. And this podcast is being brought to you by DraftKings. Reminder today at 7:30 Eastern Time, 4:30 Pacific on the YouTube channel for BettingPros. We will do our Thursday night football live stream. Myself, solo, for 30 minutes, breaking down all the latest news and notes. I will give you a couple player props that I like for the night, at least two, maybe more, for the game coming up here tonight between the Vikings and the Rams. That's 7:30 Eastern Time, 4:30 Pacific Time on the BettingPros YouTube channel for Thursday night football between the Vikings and the Rams. More on that game here in just 1 second. So I'm taping this before the game is over, and maybe that's a mistake, but I've got stuff I've got to go ahead and do. It's currently 105-92 Milwaukee. That game has 7 to play. So if I lose this bet, and if I curse this bet, mush this bet, whatever you want to talk about, but we'll recap it. We'll call it good with the Bucks at laying 3.5 on the road against the Sixers. But we got the Pacers. They scored 115, so they fell short of the 118.5 there. The first half was pretty slow, so that killed that bet. Second half was pretty much on pace, but the first half was too slow. So we missed out on the half units, 0.6 units. We won a half unit coming back with the Bucks, so we're down 0.1. So basically a paper cut and nothing as we continue just to slowly play defense with this. I told you a couple of days ago that I was going to rethink and reimagine my betting. Well, the betting universe is awesome, right? So sometimes you just get lucky and you end up spending time talking with somebody who makes a lot of sense. And so my other show, and you can go watch my other show, it's called Bostonian versus the Book. We had a guy on who I have a ton of respect for, and he doesn't sponsor this podcast, so I'll allow him to be nameless and his company to be nameless. But he had an incredible rant on the money line versus laying points debate and why paying the juice is worth it. Paying the juice in avoiding money line or avoiding spreads and just betting money line is ultimately a more profitable way of betting. And he preached so well this that I'm going to adopt this and I'm going to try this, because take the Ravens game on Monday night, right? The Ravens were never going to lose that game, but we were nervous about the 3.5, the hook we were worried about. Now, granted, this is maybe a little bit too rich for some of you. And the reason why I have stopped doing this, or did not never really do this, is because of how many units you might get down quickly if you have a bad day. This is a much more volatile way of betting, okay? There's no point spread, okay? It's money line plays. And I still will take dogs, okay? I'm not telling you I won't take dogs, because I will. I will take points. If it's +6, +7, +8, I will take dogs. If I think the dog can win the game, but I may take points just because. But laying points is now going to be something I'm going to do very infrequently. We're going to bet money line. I'm going to try this for a little while. Let's see if this is more successful, if this works out better for me, if this blows up in my face and it doesn't work, fine, it doesn't work. But when you're cold and things aren't working and they've worked previously, you can't keep doing the same thing. You have to make a change. You have to change things up and see if you can create a better handicap for yourself. So I have 3 bets, all money line here tonight. 1 NBA basketball, 1 college football, and 1 in the NFL for tonight's game between the Vikings and the Rams. Before we give you the picks and the plays, let me tell you about our friends at DraftKings. If you guys are going to go and download the Pick 6 app, please do so with the code JUICE. When you do that, you play $5, you'll get $50 in Pick 6 credits guaranteed. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-78-97-777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions may vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promo. Okay. Let's start with the Vikings and the Rams. Vikings are off their first loss of the season. There are rumors that Cooper Kupp could be traded. So there's a lot going on with the Rams. The Rams are not a good football team. Not good at all. This number is 3. I think we're going to see a bounce back spot here for the Vikings. I don't think I'm telling you guys anything you don't already know. Like, I don't think I'm coming on here and like giving you some big, huge, like, oh my God, Matt's taking the Vikings. But I just don't think this Rams team, after watching the Rams and watching them play, I don't know how good they are. I got to be honest. Like, they're banged up. They're 2-4. The Vikings are 5-1, and you have a chance to get a bounce back spot here. I mean, the Raiders were in the game against the Rams last week. In fact, I'm not really sure why the line is 3. Everyone's like, the line's a trap, the line's a trap. And it very well might be. Okay, the line may be a trap. You may go on Thursday night. Don't take the road team on Thursday night. But, I mean, Thursday night home teams have not done well recently. The numbers go against us in terms of this if you want to take a home team. And so I'm not going to worry about the point spread. I'm going to take the better team. Okay? Vikings are a complete football team. The Vikings are going to take it out on the Rams here tonight, and I think we're going to see a really good performance from this defense. I think Matthew Stafford's going to be running for his life. I think Matthew Stafford doesn't have the weapons, the wide receivers, or anybody really to hang here with its Vikings secondary to move the football consistently. I'm coming in here. I'm taking it on the money line. I'll lay the minus 150. I don't want to play around. I don't want to play around with anything to do with the line. Vikings money line, minus 150, 1.5 units down. Like I mentioned, it's going to get juicy, okay? Betting money lines is more expensive, but you only pay the juice when you lose. Good line from a daily juicer that was said on our Discord channel a bunch of months ago that I am still going to adapt. You only pay the juice when you lose. Minus 150, 1.5 units down. Vikings money line to beat the Rams for 1.5 units. Okay. Second play, let's talk about ODU at home. ODU at home in the Sun Belt. Now, you might want to go bet Pittsburgh and Syracuse. You can do that. That game feels a little bit to me. Like, I think Pittsburgh wins that game, but I don't know what to do with that game. That game's scary. That game to me is, I watch Syracuse on the road. They can score. Pittsburgh can give up points. That defense hasn't been great. Their offense has been much better, but Thursday night, ACC, I don't know. I like this game more. Why? Georgia Southern's undefeated. Winner of this game goes to first place in the division. Huge game for both Georgia Southern and Old Dominion. This is offense versus defense. ODU's defense is tremendous, and I mean tremendous. They're one of the top 25, the stats when you pull up for ODU, pretty impressive. I'll give them to you here in just 1 second. ODU is 3-4 in the year, but that's because they lost to South Carolina 23-19. South Carolina's pretty good. They lost to East Carolina 20-14. They're not bad. They lost to Vatech 37-17. Those are 3 really tough teams they played early. So once they've gotten into conference, their only loss is on the road at Coastal. They beat a tough Bowling Green team on the road. They beat Georgia State on the road, and then they beat Texas State last week at home. Georgia State, Marshall, and James Madison. That's the big win for me with Georgia Southern to beat James Madison 28-14. That's huge. We're selling high on Georgia Southern after beating JMU, the same JMU team that hung 70 on North Carolina. The stats are pretty wild. Offensively, Georgia Southern scores 28 points per game, but you don't move the ball all that well on ODU. In conference play, you don't run the ball on these guys. 3.8 yards per rush. Not an easy team to run on for ODU. Giving up less than 26 points per game. That's top 70 in the country. That's great. They only giving up 0.33 points per play. That's top 50 in the country. They are a interception-happy defense, ranking in the top 21, ranked 21st, top 25 in the country in opposing interception percentage. They pick the ball off. They turn the ball off. On the other side, ODU is good enough to move the ball. They're not outstanding. They can run the ball fairly well. They can't really throw the ball. They're not great at throwing the ball really at all. 5.5 yards for pass play. That's outside the top 100 in the country. They got a young quarterback here for ODU. This comes down to Thursday night in Norfolk, Virginia, home field, Thursday night, short week in the Sun Belt, Fun Belt, Thursday night. ESPN2's got this game. ODU. I'm taking ODU on the money line. Let's get a W here for ODU. It's minus 120 on ODU. They're 1-point favorites here. We're not going to worry about the point spread. Just take the money line here. You can lay the 1 if you want. If you want to avoid the juice and the 0.10, just lay the money line minus 1. But if they win by 1 and they push, right, just bet the money line. ODU, minus 120 for 1.2 units. Finally, we're going to the association. Massive game in the NBA. Denver hosting the Oklahoma City Thunder. Denver favored. Denver home opener. They're laying 2.5. OKC is everyone's pick to win the Western Conference. This is a SGA MVP campaign. This is Chet Holmgren. This is a roster that's got some serious depth to it. Alex Caruso now comes over via free agency to help with defense. You've got a really good bench that they're going to look to lean on here. Aaron Wiggins coming off the bench at times. Jalen Williams is out, but he'll come back at some point for this team. But starting five-wise, they're long, they can run, and they can shoot. There's a lot of questions for Denver, at least early in the year for me. There's a lot of questions for the Denver Nuggets as to what they're going to look like and what Denver's going to be able to do this season. Yes, they're at home. Yes, Denver was tremendous at home last year. However, there's one thing that happened early last year with Denver. They got beat at home early. They were 33-8 at home last year, but they got beat early. I think they get beat again here. The Thunder, I think, are going to try to make a statement the same way that the Celtics did against the Knicks. That, you know what? We're the best team in the West. Let's go and show everybody that we're the best team in the West, and we're going to get after it. And we're going to go and score. We're going to run. I mean, look, the Thunder haven't been great, like 50-win great, since back when they had KD and all the talent, James Harden. But this is that type of year for them. Like, this is where we're looking at this. And the Denver Nuggets have been the class of the Western Conference. They lost a lot. They lost Caldwell Pope. They lost Reggie Jackson. They lost a lot of... Russell Westbrook is now a Nugget. Dario Saric is a Nugget. I mean, I don't know. Jamal Murray is still on this team. Jokic is still on this team. But give me an opening night. Give me the Thunder. You don't see the Thunder as underdogs very often. This might be one of the few times they're going to be dogs. I know it's game one. I know it's taking on Denver, but I'm going to take the Thunder here. Give me OKC. It very well could be Boston versus OKC in the finals, but I got a team that is hungry to make a point. SGA versus, he doesn't have an MVP, but he wants to be. He's playing an MVP in Jokic. How they handle Jokic is going to be really important, but it comes down to the lack of shooting for me with Denver. I don't think you can collapse down on Jokic, make him, double team him with Chet and whatnot. You got some long, tall guys. He's going to get his, but don't let the three-point shooting come in, and it's Russell Westbrook. Anytime I see Russell Westbrook, I got to fade it. I'm taking the dog. It's plus money. OKC, we're not going to get many times this season to take the Thunder on the money line at plus money. We're taking the Thunder at plus money at plus 115 tonight against the Denver Nuggets. All right, Vikings money line at minus 150. Old Dominion money line at home on Thursday night in the Fun Belt at minus 120, and OKC on the road at Denver at plus 115 for 1 unit. 1.5 and 1.2 units down for us coming up here on that. We're going to get, that's 115 to 99 with 2:39 to play, 16-point lead for the Bucs, so we're good. That's good. So we're going to have a 1-and-1 day. Last night, let's see what we can do here. Back on full unit plays here on a Thursday. I'll talk to you for the live stream at 7:30 Eastern Time, 4:30 Pacific Time on the BettingPros YouTube channel for Rams and the Vikings with player props as well to add to the card. My name is Matt Perrault. Follow me across all socials at Sports Talk Matt every morning. Daily Juice Podcast presented by DraftKings.